Hello everybody, we are going to be doing a Western Final recap between the BC Lions and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now before we start, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Now let's get into it. And this was a game that wasn't as good as a lot of people I think expected it to be, but the weather and Rourke's injury might have played a factor in that, on top of the fact that Winnipeg just played really well. This one was a close one at the end, I guess you could say. Final score 28-20 in the Bombers' favor as they advanced to their third straight Grey Cup, hoping to win their third straight Grey Cup as well. But this one was a game that started off close. You know, Colaros had that first score there to Dalton Schoen, which was probably the easiest touchdown I think I've ever seen in the CFL. Probably not, but it was still a pretty easy score. And then we saw that the Lions were able to get that 2-yard rush after a Janarian Grant fumble, and that was perfect for BC because that was big. You get the punt, and then he fumbles it, and then you get the ball right back on their 2. You take the lead 7-6. After that, though, it really just felt like that the Lions could not get a lot of things going here, and this was just a problem for them. They just didn't do much. I don't feel like at the end of the day for them, they allowed a touchdown from Grant even after that they got that fumble return. I said Grant going into the game was probably going to watch out for it, and he was, because while he did have that mistake, he redeemed himself with a punt return touchdown. And all around, the Blue Bombers were just very good. They defensively did a great job stopping the run. Let me see if I can pull up stats here. Yes. So the Lions, if I'm not mistaken, ran for 28 yards. 28 yards on, 12 attempts? Holy cow. Rourke was the leading rusher who had 20 yards on the day. Whereas you look at the Blue Bombers, you had Brady Oliveira with 130 yards by himself. The team ended up outrushing them like 180-20. We said the run game was going to be a big factor in this one. BC got on both ends, on both sides. Brady Oliveira should be thanking his offensive line. He did a good job too as well. But the O-line was just getting those push-out blocks. They were really kicking it out and giving him good lanes to go through. This is where I feel like BC defensively tried to say, let's let them beat us with the run because we got a lot to worry about with the pass. Problem is, you're hoping, bad weather, maybe they can't pass. Doesn't really matter if they can run a lot. And for the Lions, that was kind of embarrassing. Rourke started off slow. I think a lot of the problem was he wasn't very mobile. They knew that. They ended up, throwing guys back into coverage, and a lot of these throws, tip balls, deflections, all that stuff, that was problematic for this team. And BC ended up going down a little bit. They started to get a big deficit, got into a big deficit, and when you try to come back, you only have so much clock left. Winnipeg, credit to them, both sides did a great job here. The punt return game I thought was good by Grant. Of course, that fumble is always going to look bad, but the Lions, I'm not even going to say with a healthy Lucky Whitehead here, would have won this game, because it still is evident that the Blue Bombers are that team. They are the best team in the league, and they really showed it here. Let's see if we can pull up what they were. 13 of 24 on second down, when the Lions were 4 of 19. Somehow, some way, they had a net total of 313 yards, the Lions that is. But I am willing to bet almost all of that came towards the end where they had to try to push the ball downfield. They ran 50 offensive plays and they had 313 yards of offense. But again, you take out some of those big plays towards the end there, you're probably looking at that being dramatically smaller. This is where they have to figure things out. Running back, was it on James Butler? Were the offensive line not able to get a lot of stuff done? I think the offensive line kind of got handled there. And for them, they aren't ready. And we have to wonder for the Lions if Rourke is going to be there after this season, because this is a good team. This is a very good football team, and they have the potential to be a Grey Cup contender, and I think they already are now. But if they cannot keep Rourke, they might have to do anything they can to get the next best man possible, because this team is good. But with Rourke, they still would be taking a step backwards. Ultimately, for them, they are not going to the Grey Cup yet again. For the Lions and their fan base, unfortunate. As a Lions fan, I am sad. I'm proud of the team, but I am sad. Nothing to say here, though. Winnipeg, at the end of the day, they had an early lead. They took advantage. They were able to make big plays a lot of the time. Make a lot of big plays. They're able to just run it Brady just was a machine. This one was a game that Winnipeg really put on to the rest of the league. We are still top of the league. We feel like we've kind of been disrespected. People saying we haven't really been challenged by top-tier quarterbacks going into the playoffs. Didn't show this time. Made it look like it was nothing. And this was a case for them possibly etching their names into a CFL dynasty as they host, well, they don't host, but they go to Regina to play the Toronto Argonauts this upcoming week. So excited for that game, whether Winnipeg wins or Toronto wins. But I have to say, for this Western Final, tip of your hat to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as they are headed to the Grey Cup, and we'll see what happens there. What were your thoughts on this game, though? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody, stay safe and have a great night.